When you get into the dashboard, if you move your mouse over the Appearance menu and you just see two items, Themes and Editor, then you need to switch your theme to a non-full site editing theme. Just click on Themes. You're going to go up to Add New and we're going to search for the 2020 thing. I just type in 20. It should come up, and here, I'm going to install that. Once it's installed, I'm going to activate, and then once it's activated, you can see that we've got some more menu. The editors disappeared. Customize widgets, menus, background and theme file editor. You're now ready to carry on with the rest of this course. When you install WordPress, WordPress will create like a blank canvas for you that you can go in and start changing and manipulating to turn into the site that you want. This is the blank canvas for the store that I've just done. And you can see from the domain name that my bit after that .clotilda is local, but because I'm using a locally installed version of WordPress here, I'm not on a web hosting this. I'm on my local machine at the moment. WordPress has been installed. And this is the appearance of my site. The site appearance is controlled by the theme in WordPress, which we will come on to look at. So if your WordPress install looks a little bit different, don't worry about it. So this is what we call the front end. This is what people will see when they come to visit your website. Now, clearly, we need to do a lot of work on this. And in order to do work on the site, we have to go into the back end. It's called the dashboard. To access the log in your site, just go to your domain and then type /wp login, or more simply, -admin and then press return, and you'll be taken to the login page. When you get to the login page, it's worth remembering your login details if it's on your own computer. And you can see I'm now logged into the back end, which is what we call the dashboard. The dashboard is where you build, edit and maintain your WordPress site. Firstly, up here at the top, we've got something called an admin menu. This admin menu or admin bar is there for convenience. And all it really does is duplicate some of the features of this main menu down the side. So, for example, if I click on New Post, that would be the same as going to Posts, Add New, and similarly. Media for New and some new media. That's the same as going to Media, Add New. So it's just a convenience. If you move your mouse over the little W there, that's the WordPress logo. You've got access to some documentation and other pages on the WordPress.org website. If you go over the little house and the name of your site there, you've got a link to visit your site. And if you click on that link, you'll be taken to the front end. I'm in the front end, but you'll notice here we've also got the admin bar on the front end. I'm going to just click the back button for the moment. One option you've got, if you want to not lose the back end while you're working, is just to right-click on Visit Site, click on Open in a new window, and you can see that that has now opened the front end. So I've got the front end and the back end open at the same time. The next would like on here is the comment icon, and I've got a little 0 next to that, meaning there are no comments to moderate. If somebody comes to my site and leaves a comment on the site, then I'll have a comment to moderate before it goes live on my site, and I will see a little no. The next icon across here is for new. You can add a new post, new media. You can have a new page or you can add a new user. We'll look all those options later in the course. And over here on the right, we've got this Howdy Andy. That will say howdy, whatever your name is. And we've got two links, Andy and Edit Profile. Both of those go to the same screen, which is the Edit Profile screen under Users here. And you can do things like change the color scheme of your dashboard and a few other things that we will look at shortly. The one thing I will mention, though, while we're here is this one here, Toolbar Show Toolbar when viewing site. Well, surprise, surprise, that's this admin at the top. If I uncheck that, click on Update Profile and go back and refresh my site, you'll see the admin bar has disappeared. It's actually really useful to have it enabled because that way when you're going through your site, you can actually do some of the maintenance for your site. While you're looking at the front end, you'll see we've got all the same options there. We've also got a customized option there, which isn't on the back end, but customize is found down here in the appearance there. And to customize, Just a quick note here about this admin bar. It's on the front end, and some of my students in the past have said, well, if it's on the front end like this, what's stopping my visitors from logging? Well, the simple answer is that admin bar is only shown to admin users who are logged in. I'm logged in another tab, therefore that is showing. If I was to log out and go back to my site and refresh just like any other normal visitor to the site, you see that has now disappeared, and we've got it back again over here as well. We've got an image there that's a photo of me that is created using gravitons, which I will look at in the course. Don't worry about that right now. Right underneath here, you can see I can tell Dolly if I refresh that text changes. And that's because some installs of WordPress will install a plug-in called Hello Dolly, and basically it just puts quotes from the Hello Dolly movie up there. Well, look at that shortly in this section where we clean out all of the pre-installed. You may not have it. If you're doing a local install like this one, then you won't have the Hello Dolly plugin. I've installed it just so that those people who do have it can see what's going on underneath the admin. If you want to go and find help on the WordPress website, hopefully you won't need that because you're following the screen options just controls what's displayed on the screen. And you can see there's little checkboxes here. So, for example, let's choose this welcome one. Here is a check next to the welcome. Watch this box down here. Welcome to WordPress, and check it. It's disappeared. And in fact, I can uncheck all of these and hide them all if I want to. This screen options screen is dependent on where you are in the dashboard. It's context sensitive, so if I was to go over to comments, let's say, and look at the screen options, they're going to be completely different because these screen options relate. This table down here, you can see we've got 4 columns: author, comment, in response to, and submitted. If I don't want that in response to column, I can hide it. I can also choose how many comments are shown per page and a few other things as well. We've got a couple of different options here. So that's screen options. If you see something on my screen in the videos you don't see on your screen, check the screen options to make sure it's actually turned on okay. Over on the left hand side, you can see we have a large menu, and this menu, all of the items in here, have little sub-menus attached to them. If I was to click on the main menu, let's say I'm clicking on appearance, all of these items will then be incorporated into the main menu. Let me show you. You see all those items now under appearance. If I was to click on users, then the users items is incorporated in the main menu and the appearance. And if I click on, let's say tools, the users integrated menu will disappear and we'll get the tools. You can also collapse the sidebar menu into a narrow bar if you need the extra space to see what you're doing. This menu on the left is really, really important. This is how you get access to all of the features in the dashboard, so you can edit posts, pages, maintain your site, and keep in control of everything that's going on your site. So this menu is vital. It will change as you work through the course because new menu items will be added from themes and plug. But these are the basic items that you can see over there on the left at the moment. And then finally, on the right hand side, we've got this big box, which is the general work area. Whatever bit you click on in the menu, the work area for that appears on the right. I'm in the media library, and if I want to add a new item to the media library, I can click the menu item here or the add new button up here. I'll take you to the same screen, and you can see the main work area changes to reflect the area of the dashboard that I'm in if I go to post. So I want to add a new post, which is basically a web page. And then WordPress opens up what it calls its Gutenberg Editor. By default, that menu on the left has disappeared, but to turn it back on is fairly easy. Just go over to the More Tools and Options, these 3 little dots on the right hand side. Click on that and then unclick the full screen mode, and you can see that your menu is now reinstated. And that setting full screen mode, whatever you decide now, is going to be remembered next time. So that will now become the new default. Personally, I like the sidebar menu there, and if I need to collapse it down, I can collapse it there, and I have the choice in doing that. So I will leave that menu or the full screen option up here turned off. So that's an overview of the dashboard, the 3 main areas, the admin bar, the menu on the side, and then the large work area where you actually do the work to edit and maintain your site. What I'd suggest you do is just log into your dashboard and go through all of these menu items. You're not going to know what everything does, but you're not going to break anything either. So just go in and make yourself comfortable, find your way around. And then in the next video, we're going to have a look at some of the stuff that WordPress pre-installed and clear it out, so we have a genuine blank canvas to start building our own website. In the video, when we had a look around the dashboard, we started by looking at the front end, and you can see it again in the screen. The front end is a basic WordPress install. Basically our blank canvas, but it's not actually a blank canvas because WordPress installed some content to get you started or just to show you how things work. For example, up here we've got a link to a sample page, so WordPress installed this sample piece of content on the site. If I go back to the home page, WordPress also installed something called a post, which if I click on it, I can see the post, read the post and even reply to the post. And as you can see, WordPress installed a comment. That comment has already been approved because we can see it and also because we've got a 0 next to our number of comments to approve. So let's go into the dashboard and see what WordPress did and how we can remove some of this dummy content. And the first thing I'm going to go to is plugins, because if you're installing WordPress on a web host, chances are WordPress will come pre-installed with some plugins. And these are the most common ones. Hello, Dolly. We've seen it puts these quotes up here and is totally useless. You can see there's a deactivate link there. That's because it's currently active. You can see it's active because it's doing its thing up here. Akismet anti-spam is a great anti-spam filter, but it's only for non-commercial sites. So if you have a commercial site, you sell anything or you make any money from your site in any way, then you can't use it. At least you can't use the free version. You can buy the pro version and pay your money and then use the plugin. I'm going to remove it here because I don't need it. And then another one that is commonly installed is Jetpack. I'm going to deactivate or remove Jetpack. It's already deactivated, which I know because it says activate that. All I'm going to do, I'm going to click deactivate to deactivate. Hello, Dolly. Then I'm going to select all 3 plugins and go to bulk action, delete and apply. WordPress will now do is it will delete those plugins. I should point out that some web hosts will have their own plugins which help to speed up and manage your WordPress site. So if you see a plugin that has the name of your web host in it, I would leave that active and don't mess too much with that one. You can contact your web host for more information on what that does. Okay. If we go back to the front end again, you can see nothing's changed because those plugins weren't doing anything on the front end. But we have that sample page and we have the sample post and we have that comment that's attached to the post. Let's go first to the pages, and I'm going to see sample page by clicking this all pages link. And you can see WordPress has created a privacy policy which is labeled as draft. That means it's not live on the website. And the sample page will leave the privacy policy because we're going to look at privacy policies later in the course. But the sample page I want to delete, so I'm going to just move my mouse over, and then you see this little sub-menu come up saying edit quick, edit trash, and view all of those little sub-menus up to you to have a look at and see what they do. But for now, all I'm going to do is click on the trash link and that will send that page to the trash. And you can see now I've got one item in trash. If I go to my page and refresh, you can see that sample page link there has now disappeared. If I decide, oh, no, I really wanted that page after all, I go back to the trash and you see anything in here is kept there until you delete permanently. I haven't deleted it permanently, so it's still there. I click on the restore link and that will put that page back up again. It will republish that page as it happens. I don't want it, so I'm going to click on trash. Move it to trash. Sample page has disappeared and then we can move on to the post. Posts and pages are 2 different ways of creating web pages. We will cover how to use both and the differences between both in the course, so don't worry about them now. If I click on posts, you can see all the posts. We've got one called Hello World, which is that one that we saw. And you can see in the table as well, there is one comment assigned to the Hello World. If I click on that comment there, I'm taking over into the comments section. You can see the comments menu is now highlighted on the left, and this is my comment and comment moderation area. This one has already been approved, but just like the page, I could send it to trash. A quicker way of doing it. If I go to posts and I go to Hello World and click trash for the Hello World, then the comment that is associated with that post will also be deleted. So it's gone down there. You'll notice, though, that comment is not found in the trash. Let's go back to the posts. And I'm going to go to trash and I'm going to restore that post. And let's go back to the comments. You can see that comment is back again. So it's not sent to the trash, but it is still hiding there. Let's delete the post. I'm going to leave the post in the trash. It's not on the front end anymore. It's not bothering me, but in the future, if I decide I might want to get it back, then I can come back in and restore it. If you have posts and pages like this that you want to permanently get rid of, all you need to do is click on the Delete Permanently link there. If you have multiple items in here, you can click on the little box there, which will select all items in the list and go up to Bulk Actions, Delete Permanently, and then click on Apply. That will then get rid of them permanently, so you won't bother getting them back. You can't restore them after you've deleted permanently, so make sure that is actually what you want to do. So that's most of the pre-installed stuff cleared out. But if we go back to the front end, you can see that we've got some things here. We've got a search box, recent comments, archive categories on this matter, which has the site log in, log out and all that information in there. Those are added by something called widgets. You can access the widgets through the appearance menu. Good. Enter widgets. When you get there, you'll get these expandable boxes that show you areas on your website where you can insert widgets. This theme, if I go over to my themes menu, is the 2020 theme. If you're using a different theme, you may well see different boxes. The 2020 theme has two areas: 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 2. And these represent two areas at the bottom of every web page that you can insert widgets. If we go over to the website, you can clearly see these two areas. This is the footer area down here where we have photo area, 1 on the left, and footer area 2 on the right. And what you're seeing in those 4 areas correspond to the widgets that are inserted. So let's go back to the widget screen and look in 4 to 1. We have a search box. Then we have a latest posts widget. And then we have that's a latest comments widget. We go back, you can see the search box. There are no latest post because there's no posts on the website. So that which is hidden, and we have no comments to show. So that widget isn't actually displaying anything at the moment. Let's go back and have a look at widgets in 4 to 2. We have an archives. We have this one here, which is a category widget. And then we have this metal widget down here to go across to the site. We can say we have the archives. There's no archives to show because there's no posts. Because there's no post, there's no categories to show. And then we have the meter menu down at the bottom. So let's just delete those so we can start with a blank site. We open up 4 to 1 and click into the first widget, which is the search box. And then using this options menu here, go down to remove block and then just repeat for the other widgets. Remove block. Repeat for this one. Remove block, so 4 to 1 is not clear. Repeat that 4 footer to remove archives, remove category, and we'll remove the widgets block. You can always put those back in later. We'll look at how you can add widgets later in the course. WordPress uses Gutenberg by default, which is a page builder for creating your posts and pages. I won't go into details now because we are covering it in depth later in the course. But essentially a page builder like Gutenberg works on blocks and you can type in content. And then if you want to add an image, you would typically add an image block. And if you don't see it in the list, you can search for it and then just add that image block, upload an image, choose one from the media library or insert from your URL. And then once you've inserted image, you then add another block underneath, which may be a heading. block, and then maybe you want to put a paragraph block and so on, and you can build your page up using blocks. So Page Builder then works on this block system. In this video, I want to show you how you can revert back to the previous editor that WordPress used to use, called the Classic Editor. Some people prefer it, some people prefer Gutenberg, some people prefer one of the third-party options that I talked about in a previous video. But let's go. Don't plug-ins and add new. And we're going to go across onto the right-hand side here and type in Classic. You can see that there is a Classic Ed plugin here listed by WordPress contributors, and we're going to click Install. Once it's installed, click on the Activate link and you can see now that inside are installed plug-ins. You see that's the menu that we're currently in. On the left, we can see that we have one active installed plugin called the Classic Ed. We do need to configure it so that it works instead of Gutenberg. And you can do that by going to the settings. You can access the settings from the plug-in screen. You can see there's little settings link there. And if you click on that, it will take you to the settings. The settings for this plug-in are actually found inside the writing settings. So instead of going through the settings link here on the plugin screen, you could go down to settings, up to writing, and click on that, and you'll arrive at the same place. The settings of importance here for the Classic Ed are these two here: Default Ed for all users and Allow users to switch Ed. If you want to set the Classic Ed as the default, then just check the Classic Ed radio button. If you want Gutenberg to be the default, you can click the block editor as the default and then allow users to switch. If you have the Classic Editor is the default, but you want the option of using Gutenberg, then click on Yes. Allow users to switch editors. When you're done, go down to the bottom and click on Save. And then when you go in now to add a new post or add a new page, you're actually taken to the Classic Editor. As I said, it looks a lot more like a word processor because I had the option to allow users to switch editor. If I scroll down here on the right, you'll see that there is an editor section that says switch to block editor. So I'm in the Classic Editor. If I click on this, then this post will open up in the block editor instead. And there we are. We're now inside the block editor. If I want to go back to the Classic Editor, I can go up to More Tools and Options and down to Switch to Classic Editor. And that will then take me back into the Classic Editor with a Classic Editor. You enter a title at the top and then you enter your content down in this window down here. You can see much more like a word processor. This toggle tool button here will open up another row of options so you can type in your content. And you can even add images by clicking on the Add Media, which will open up the media library. We will have a look at the media library shortly because you're going to need the media library to upload images, videos, PDF and any of the documents or resources you want to make available to your visitors. As I said, this was a very quick intro to the Classic Ed. If you want to have a look at it, you want to try it, then install the plugin, try it out for yourself, and see whether it works for you if you decide you don't want it. And in my particular case, I don't. I'm going to just go back to my install plugins and remove the Classic Ed first by deactivating and then deleting. And now I'm back to where I was if I go and add a new post. Now we go straight into the Gutenberg Editor in the next video. I want to have a quick look at the Gutenberg Editor, so you have an overall understanding of what it is. I've dedicated an entire section of this course to using the Gutenberg Editor, so I'm not going to go into details here. There's just a few things I want to highlight. The first thing is that from WordPress 5, Gutenberg was the default editor. It's built into WordPress. However, one thing you should be aware of is if you go over to plugins and you search for Gutenberg, you will find plugins related to Gutenberg. In fact, you'll find one that's called Gutenberg. You do not need to install this or any other Gutenberg plugin to have Gutenberg. Gutenberg is built into WordPress. If you install WordPress 5 or later, Gutenberg is already a part of it. This plugin was actually provided originally in versions of WordPress where there was no Gutenberg. It was the old classic editor and allowed us to install Gutenberg so we could try it on installations before Gutenberg was officially released. So just to summarize that, then don't go looking for Gutenberg plugins to install Gutenberg in WordPress. It's already there. The second thing is that in a previous video we had a look at the classic ed. If you're not going to use the classic ed on your site, just uninstall the plugin because you don't need it. I'm going to introduce the media library to you now because as soon as you start creating your own posts or pages, you're going to need to use the media library. You can find the media library over here on the left. And to begin with, your media library will be blank, but this is where you're going to add things like images, videos, or anything else that you want your visitors to be able to access in terms of download. So, for example, you could upload DAF files here as well. The media library acts as a convenient storage area for all types of media. You can see here that on my media library I have uploaded some images. But if I pull this drop-down box down, you can see that the media library is also good for audio, video, other types of documents, spreadsheets, and so on the top of your media library. You can click on the Add New and select files to upload them. You can use the Select Files button, or you can just drag and drop your items into that box and they will be uploaded. At the very top here, we have two options for viewing them at the moment. I'm using this option that produces these little thumbnails of each image, but there is this list view as well, and this view gives you a little bit more information about them, gives you the file name and where they've been uploaded to and so on. I generally keep it on the thumbnail view. We've also got an all dates, so we can actually filter by dates. These were all uploaded in June 2020. So that's the only date that I've got there. And you can also select multiple images at a time by clicking on this box, select, and then just clicking on the images you want to select, so you can make multiple selections there. That will then allow me to click delete permanently and delete those images. I don't want to do that. You can search by file name as well, or if you've added any details to your images, and we just show you this quickly. If you click on an image, you'll see that you've got a lot of detail down the side. We've got old text, title, we can put caption, description, and when you do a search for images, you can search on any of those fields. If I just type in fly and search, it should find those flies because the word fly was included as the title. But if I delete that fly there and I add fly to the caption, wait for that to save and close it and search for fly again, the fly is no longer in the title, but it is in the caption. Therefore it's still finding that version of the fly image. When you click on an image, this screen is called the attachment details screen, and this is where you would go in to change the titles and all texts and all the rest of it for the images. You can also copy a link to that particular image. So here's that image link there, and if I paste that into my web browser and open in a new window, you can see that that is the actual URL of the image. It's taking a while to download because this is quite a large image file. But you can see the appearance of the kingfisher just coming into view. So that's the attachment page. When you upload a MIDI item to the media library, WordPress automatically creates an attachment page for each piece of media. So there is an attachment page for every one of these images that I've uploaded. And you can modify what that attachment page or the information that attachment page has by clicking on the thumbnail and coming in here and editing those things. Chances are you're not actually going to be using those attachment pages for anything, but I just thought I'd mention them in case you hear about attachment pages. Just a couple more options here from the attachment details screen. If you scroll to the bottom here, you see there is a menu down here where we can view the attachment page. That will I bring this down here, you'll see that it's actually coming up with AUR out of the attachment page and scrolling down. It has some information depending on the theme you're using. The information that's displayed on the attachment page may include the title, caption, and all those other things. But as I said, You probably won't use these attachment pages for anything else. Let's just go back to the attachment details screen again. Here we are, and if I scroll down, you can see there is an option here as well to delete permanently, but there is this Edit More Details. And if you click on the Edit More Details, that just brings up another version of this screen where you can edit the attachment page and it gives you all of the fields for the attachment page. You could put a description in there and a little bit more information on that. Let me just go back to the media library again, and I wanted to point out that in this view here you'll see there are no screen options in a tab up at the top. That's this thumbnail view. If you click on the list view, you'll notice the screen options appear and you then have options there, where you can say how many items you want on a page. Currently, the default is 22 to the list of 20 items there. And whether you want to include these columns, author uploaded to comment and date. So you have that extra function there as well. Chances are you're not gonna need to go in there. But I thought I would point it out while we're here. Of course, this screen also gives you the option of deleting images. So if you wanted to delete some images that say, I wanted to get rid of 2 of those flies because, and it just tells me that I'm about to delete some images once they're deleted. If I never search for fly, we will only find the one remaining image. And they can see we now just have that one fly. I can cancel the search by clicking on a little cross down there. And then if I just press return, it should return me to all of the items in my media list. When it comes to adding media items, we've seen already that you can click on the Add New and you'll be taken to this box that allows you to drag and drop files into that box and they'll be uploaded to Media Library. Or you can click on the Select Files button and upload images through that. The other way you're going to want to add images is actually when you go in and you're creating a post. So let me just go in and create a new post. And let's say I'm going to use an image block. This then brings up a little block here that allows me to upload an image. Choose one from the media library or insert a URL of an existing image. It's online. Remember, at the very start of this video, I said that Media Library is there to help you organize and keep all of your media in one place. That's the beauty of it. If I want to insert an image that I know I've already uploaded that Zemo Media Library, I can just go over to my Media Library, choose the image I want to insert and insert it. Let me just come out of that and we'll have a look at the other options. If you click on the Upload button, let's do that now. And I'm going to just pick this little dog image. That image now should be uploaded to my media library. So let's go over and check. We should now find that that little dog has been added. Here we are to the media library. And if I just click on that, you see taken to the Edit Media page. So that's the media library. You'll be using it an awful lot as you build your pages, adding in images, maybe videos, other documents and things that you want to offer or show on your website. So go in and have a look around. You can't break anything. Try uploading some images, go through the different displays up here and just get a good feel for how it all works.